Article 21, right to life and personal liberty. Now, is this right a mere guarantee against any unlawful activity of taking one's life? Or does it also put a positive mandate on the state to make arrangements where each human life is preserved and valued? Hello students, welcome to Drishti IAS. My name is Saloni Nandkyoliar and the Honorable Supreme Court of India has issued certain directives in this regard. In this session, let us understand what the directives say and what new has been added to the right to life. So the Supreme Court of India took suo motu cognizance of certain road deaths that happened in Telangana, in Rajasthan. A lot of people lost their lives and the Supreme Court of India said that these are things that can be prevented. Road accidents happening because of negligence, because of poor infrastructure, these are things that can be avoided and each human life needs to be preserved. And this actually is a fundamental right which is covered under Article 21. So the Supreme Court said that the Article 21 is not a mere guarantee that any unlawful activity will not take away one's life, but it is also putting a responsibility upon the state to make such arrangements where we do not lose lives because of poor infrastructure, because of weak enforcement of laws, because of negligence or anything of that sort. So Article 21 is also going to cover these the right to safe passage on national highways. So national highways and the issue of road accidents on national highways was pointed out by the Honorable Supreme Court of India, and it said that even though the national highways, they make up only 2% of the road infra. But when we talk about the fatalities, when we talk about the deaths in road accidents, they contribute to 30% of the accident deaths, road accident deaths. So this is a huge number. Only 2% national, 2% of infrastructure is giving rise to 30% of the deaths that are happening on road. And these are deaths that can be avoided. They could have been avoided. So they are happening at night at times, or they are happening due to successive collisions. They are happening because the signboards are not appropriate. They are happening because encroachment is ongoing in the national highway area. So these things are things that can be avoided and they should have been avoided, and so many people should not have lost their lives. So the Supreme Court said that the right to safe passage on highways is actually a fundamental right covered under Article 21, right to life and personal liberty. Okay. So certain directives have been given. So the Supreme Court has declared that the safety of commuters against road accidents and the right to safe passage on highways are part of the fundamental right to life under Article 21 of the Constitution. Correct? Now for that, certain directives have been given. So very quickly, let us look at the directives. The directives say that there needs to be an immediate prohibition on all these establishments that we see on the national highways, the dhabas, the hotels, restaurants, all these different establishments. Construction and operation of any new dhaba, eatery, commercial structure within the right of way of any national highway. So can they not be constructed anywhere on the national highway? No, that's not the case. These people also have the right to practice their profession. They can do such things, but they need to understand that the right of way of the national highway will have to be left. Now, what is this right of way? So there is a national highway. National highway is not just the road that you see, road where the vehicles are moving. That alone is not the national highway. Certain other things are also a part of that plan. For example, any future expansion plan that there might be for the national highway, 20 meter, 30 meter, 100 meter, whatever it is different for different highways. So that future expansion plan is actually a part of the right of way. In some cases, it is also the service road. So the right of way is different for different highways. And in order for any establishment to happen in those, or any construction to happen in those areas, people need to be mindful that no construction will happen on the right of way of the national highway, because future expansion also needs to be taken into consideration. When the traffic will increase, when the lanes will have to be increased, there is certain bandwidth that is kept for future expansion, certain service roads, certain broadways, pavements that are kept. So they will have to be taken into consideration. The right of way will have to be left clean. No construction, any new construction, any new manufacturing, any new establishment is not going to come up. Okay, so this was the first directive. Second directive says that no heavy or commercial vehicle should park, stop on any national highway, carriageway or paved shoulder except at designated bays, laybys, wayside amenities. Now this again is a very important directive. Many a times these accidents happen because people wrongly park their cars on the national highways. They do not take care of, they do not take the initiative, or they do not take the pain of actually using the designated stopways or designated parkings where these things can be done. They simply will stop their car anywhere, wherever they feel like, and that can lead to successive collision. Again, these are things that can be avoided. So that's why these directives have been given, that you are not going to, no heavy or commercial vehicle should park or stop their vehicle, and these especially heavy vehicles, like wherever the movement of goods is happening, freight movement is happening, we make use of these trucks and trolleys. So these are all heavy vehicles. They should not be stopping anywhere on the highway. There are designated stopways where they can stop, where they can rest for a while or whatever the thing is, but they should not be stopping anywhere, because once they stop, it's very difficult for the successive vehicles to stop at the same time in the same manner, and that can give rise to successive collisions. So these are certain directives that have been given because the Supreme Court has said that these are things that can be avoided. They should have been avoided, and every life is precious, and right to life is not simply taking care of any unlawful activity. It's also a positive mandate on the state that you make such arrangements on the national highways that people do not lose their lives due to such things, due to weak enforcement or due to poor infrastructure. So what do we have right now when we talk about the safety, road safety? So we have the Motor Vehicle Act, Motor Vehicles Act of 1988. Now this was amended in 2019 also. So this takes care of the registration, this takes care of licensing, this takes care of insurance, of speed limits and everything of that sort. But there is still problem. What is the problem in the road safety infrastructure of India? So first and foremost, it is the weak enforcement of laws. Weak enforcement of laws. So we have the laws, but the enforcement will have to take at ground level. We'll need the help of state police, then the highways and transport authority. There are different people, different divisions that have different functions. So everybody needs to come together, and there is weak enforcement at the ground level. The challan system is not appropriate. There is corruption at the ground level. So there is weak enforcement, and people often make use of such loopholes and such lacuna that are present in the system. So weak enforcement is the first issue. Now secondly, we'll also see that accountability is also a challenge. Sometimes when we talk about the national highways, infrastructure is an issue, like not good quality material has been used in the construction of that national highway. But who is going to take the accountability of that? Whenever an accident happens, people start blaming the driver or the person who was or basically the driver of all these different vehicles. But how many people are actually taking responsibility, or is the government actually taking responsibility of the poor infrastructure of that national highway? So many a times fixing of accountability is also a challenge. This is also a lacuna of our laws. Accountability of the engineering, road engineering is not up to the mark. So this is also, made kind of taken an advantage of. And then we also have things at the civic level. So when we talk about road accidents, we have the Good Samaritan law. Good Samaritan law. So we were talking about deaths. Now these deaths can be avoided at times when accidents happen, if they are taken to the hospital at the right time, if the injured is taken to the hospital at the right time, he or she can save their life. But what happens, that is the Good Samaritan law, that people, whoever are the bypassers, they can simply take the injured person to the nearest hospital and they're going to be rewarded for that. They're going to be applauded for that. But at times what we see, or most of the times what we see, is that people are simply busy in taking videos, in filming the accident, instead of actually stepping up and taking the responsibility and taking the injured person to the hospital. They don't want to do that. Not many people want to do that. There are only a handful of people who will actually go onto the site and do such things. So a civic sense of responsibility is also missing at this level, at the ground level. So these are some loopholes, these are some lacuna that we have in our system, in these laws that are there, and that's why the Supreme Court has also intervened and it has given certain directives. Now these directives have to be followed, and at our individual level there are certain things that citizens can also do, that we can take care of the speeding limits. We should not be over speeding. We can take care of lane driving, so successive lane changing should not happen, or very frequent lane changing should not happen. We should properly follow the traffic rules. We should follow everything, and then we should also be a good Samaritan. If we see that a road accident has happened and the person needs our help, then instead of just filming certain things, we can take the person to the hospital. So these are things that individuals can do. Then there are things that the government can do. Government can fix this part, fix the accountability part, fix the enforcement part. So it's like all the stakeholders coming together, and then we can make sure that our fundamental right is not exactly encroached. So that was all for this discussion. I hope you enjoyed the video. Now we look at the practice question for prelims. And before we do that, we have the Studio GS Foundation live online course where you will get a complete UPSC syllabus coverage of prelims and mains in 1250 plus of classes and a duration of 14 months. And you have 3 mediums that you can choose from: English, Hindi and English. So you're getting all of this at 34,999. And if you use a coupon code SALONI, you can get a further discount on this fee. So don't wait, admissions are already open. Please call us at 87501 87501, and you can also download the Drishti Learning app. Now let's look at the question. Consider the following statements about road safety on national highways in India. 1. Parking of trucks and buses on main highway is allowed only in specially designated areas. 2. Encroachment of roadside space along highways can increase the risk of accidents. 3. National highways in India are mainly used for slow-moving local traffic within cities. Which of the statements given above is or are correct? A. 1 only, B. 2 and 3 only, C. 1 and 2 only, or D. 1, 2 and 3. Please attempt this question and provide your answers in the comment section. Thank you for watching.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.